Welcome to National Podcast Post Month here on Yad Dad Out Podcast, where I am attempting to do 30 episodes in 30 days, and that's gonna mean stacking them up a couple of times, but I'm gonna do it because, well, I'm a glutton for punishment, what can I say? But that also means that it's time for the news.
Bullshit from the news.
The new Apple credit card appears to be sexist. So, if you didn't know, Apple, like Apple Computer and iPads and iPods and taking over the world, Apple, they recently launched a credit card, partnered with Goldman Sachs. And there was kind of marketed saying that they were going to be offering credit to people who otherwise may not have been offered credit, which I don't know if this is a good business decision, but whatever. It's good marketing, at least. Well, shortly after they launched the card, complaints started popping up on the social medias saying that women seem to be getting offered substantially, and by substantially I mean in the 10s to 20 times lower credit limits than their husbands. Even when they actually made more money and had the better credit and had stronger assets and all of those crazy things. Yeah, the women with more credit worthiness than their husbands were being offered lower credit limits. The fuck? And they're like, oh, it's we don't know what it's the algorithm, which always seems in the modern era, it's blame the algorithm is the problem with algorithms. Great, your algorithm is racist or sexist or whatever. But the funniest thing is, one of the people that complained was Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak. Yeah, the dude who founded Apple with Steve Jobs. He put out and saying that, he applied and his wife applied, and he was given 10 times the credit limit that his wife was, even though they share all of the same assets. Like all of their accounts are shared, all of their money and all of their assets are exactly the same. It's all shared. So there's zero difference in their everything. Yet he was offered 10 times more than she was. That's kind of fucked and kind of sexist. And when they kind of confronted Apple about it, they were like, hey, we don't do the card. It's just our name on it, blah, 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 blah. Deflect. Goldman Sachs are the ones that are actually kind of running the credit card side of this thing. At which point, Wozniak was like, but Apple's name is on it. And it's funny because he currently works for Apple. And again, he founded the company, so he's kind of somebody who I'm pretty sure, because they launched an internal investigation now to look into why is this happening. But really, it's a matter of, like, would they have done that had it not been Steve Wozniak who complained? Because it's like, hey, this dude is really important with Apple. He's got the pull to say, hey, knock this shit. What the fuck is going on? Why am I getting more credit than my wife? And I do like that, and it's like, oh, men coming to the rescue of their wives, but it's men looking at this and seeing, hey, what the fuck? This isn't right. This is completely sexist, and there's something going on here. You guys need to look at this shit, because my wife just got ripped off by your credit card, and she should have better credit than me. So she's got better credit. She makes more money. What the fuck? Why is she getting, in one case, somebody said 20 times lower, that he got a 20 times larger credit offer than his wife did, when she basically is the more credit worthy of the two. And so it's really like, they're like, oh, it's all just based on an algorithm and the system does it and we don't know exactly. It's like, no, you know exactly. You know exactly, because somebody had to program the algorithm. So some dickhead in your development team programmed in somewhere that, whether it was intentional or not, that women were graded differently in their algorithm, and scores and credit limits were assigned lower to women. Because there is no way something like that could consistently happen. Because if it is a fair algorithm, in the case of Steve Wozniak, him and his wife would be offered the exact same amount, because everything they have is the same. You know, it's like, if it's not the same, it's like my credit score is like 3 points higher than my wife. And I only know this because she bitches about it all the time. And this basically comes to the fact that I've had credit since I was 17. That I, had my first car loan when I was 17. My stepmom co-signed it, stuff like this. I've purchased several cars. I've had several credit cards. I've been building credit for a long time, much longer than my wife. So my credit score is higher. That's it. Because I just have a longer credit thing. So yeah, but you know what? My wife makes more money than I do. And the difference in our credit scores, she still gets offered way more credit. Her credit limits on her credit cards are way high, like 2 or 3 times what I get. So why is it that when a card is put out there and 2 people have the exact same everything, there's such a discrepancy? Somebody fucked up. Somebody in Apple, Goldman Sachs development algorithm to assign credit limits fucked up. And there has to be some sort of gender. It's not that it's programmed to like, shortchange the women, but the fact that it pops in there anywhere, because technically you can't ask gender or anything like that in like anything nowadays for legal reasons. It gets considered a form of discrimination. So you can't, just like you can't ask a woman if she's pregnant professionally. Things like that. Just like you can't talk about gender, politics, religion, any of those sort of things. There are laws against that. And so I wonder if somewhere in their application process is actually a gender question that is, if you like, and again, I'm not going to say they did it on purpose, but somewhere in there, it's in there, and it's calculating that into the equation, into the algorithm, and it's whatever reason, it's downscoring anybody who's checks female on their little application, because otherwise it makes no sense. Either way, they fucked up. And again, they're doing an internal investigation, but how the fuck did this happen? You're Apple. You're Apple and your Goldman Sachs. These are some serious names right now that are really fucking up. And it is going to smear the name of the Apple card for a long time. But, what can you do? I mean, I guess it's kind of a side effect of starting a new credit card, which honestly, nobody asked for. We don't need another credit card, especially one that's sexist. But that's going to do it for me for today, or at least for this time. I will be back with you later to catch you up on what was I doing this weekend, and maybe some other stuff. I don't know. But until then, remember, subscribe to the show. Go to odddadoutpodcast.com. Tack on a /NAPODPOMO 2019 to get all of these episodes. Subscribe to the show, ratings, reviews. You know the drill. You're listening to a podcast. I don't have to tell you these things. Follow me at OddDadOut on all the social medias. And until next time, oddballs, goodbye.